What's going on, guys? Today's video is going to be from the Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves series that happened last week in the VCT Closed Challengers, or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called, but I thought this was a pretty interesting video to go over because I can sort of break down why Split is such a CT-sided, heavy map, and especially Cloud9, they pick a double Sentinel comp of Killjoy and Chamber, and why is this so annoying? Now, I want to preface this video, or whatever it's called, by saying that some people were talking about how they might have chosen this team comp because 100 Thieves picked Split and Cloud9 got defense first, right? So they decided, hey, let's play a more defense-sided heavy comp, and maybe we can try and rack up as many rounds as we can on defense, to the point where 100 Thieves almost has to play perfectly on their defensive half, and then we can just grind out 2 or 3 rounds or 4 rounds, whatever we need on our offense, because obviously offense isn't going to be as easy with the double Sentinel comp, and all they have is the Breach, Race, and Astra. So while I was watching the series, usually when I watch series, I try to watch streams like Vanity Stream, C9 Vanity, or T1 Steel, or Fnatic Boaster. I try to watch other pros talk about the game while they're watching the game, because that's how you sort of learn a lot about this game. They talk about things that they know, like why certain things are happening, thought processes that they're going through, and I highly suggest that when you watch these streams or watch these VCT games, that you should be watch people who know what they're talking about, not just the regular stream. The regular stream isn't wrong. The broadcasters do a great job, but if you want to get better at the game and improve yourself as a player, there's a lot to learn from these people who are doing these watch parties, and I highly suggest you check them out. And a lot of the concepts I want to talk about today are actually based off of Steel's stream that he talked about on his stream. So if you don't know who T1 Steel is, I highly suggest you check him out. You spell his name exactly how you say it, Steel. Check him out. Good guy. Really smart, knows what he's talking about. But to start, I want to talk about the pistol round that they do here and their setup that they got going on. So something interesting you're going to notice is that Killjoy is going to put her alarm bot down in mid, and it's not a sage wall. So a lot of you are probably freaking out oh god, they don't have a sage wall in mid. In my ranked games, people always freak out about not having a sage on Split and how it's kind of troll. You don't really need to have a sage on Split. You just need something to hold this mid control so that you can safely rotate from site to site quickly, knowing that nobody's through mid, right? So what you're going to see is that alarm bot there. You're also going to see an alarm bot from Chamber. This is going to be towards the A site, so Astra doesn't, if they're starting to come into A site, she can sort of play off the slow. They know that the slow that pops off. By the way, his slows are really gross. They last almost 10 seconds, 9.5 seconds to be exact. I think that's kind of broken about Chamber. I think it's something that Riot should look into, but I don't think his slow should last that long. But like I said, Astra doesn't have to worry about A main as much. She can sort of play off that alarm bot there. And if that alarm bot never goes off and they decide to take ramp, this tells Cloud9 that if this bot never goes off, they're just taking ramp control. Then Chamber can TP from vents, go all the way here. He has 6 shots in his Sheriff. I'm going to show you his pistol buy, which I think is really funny. He buys, can you see it? Yeah, you can sort of see it. He has a shorty, 6 shots, and an alarm bot that he put down here. The shorty is really funny because when playing on Split, when you're going to clear vents, it's kind of hard. I mean, unless you're using an alarm bot or a dog or something, but this is a really strong pistol buy for Chamber. He gets 6 shots, or is that 5 or 6 shots? What's the math? 5 shots, I'm sorry. But he gets 5 shots with the Sheriff. He has a really close range weapon in the shorty. He can get one and get out real easy. And that's the the thing about the shorty. That's why people buy it on Nikas. It's so good at getting one, but you die. But with Chamber, you get one and then you get out. So vents is locked down pretty well. Mid's locked down pretty well. It tells you if they're coming into mid. Chamber, like I said, is in vents with the shorty, so he'll know if they're in vents or not, and he can be the first rotate over to A to help Astra. This TP here is so strong because if Astra's playing on site, he'll be the first rotator over to help this Astra either on site or on ramps if she decides to fall back and move to ramp. So that's really strong. And then this turret is super strong because it watches the push out of B main, but also if this alarm bot goes down and Killjoy ends up having to give up mid and play sort of by stairs or by site, this turret will go off and tell you if they're in heaven or not. So they have information on almost every part of the map, and you're gonna see this is gonna be a common trend that you see throughout this video and these rounds that I show you, that if 100 Thieves want to have any chance at winning against this strong defense, they're gonna have to play super slow, bait out these bots, bait out all this utility, And I'll explain it later, when I show you different rounds, but you have to play super slow against this because you need to break all of this utility. Otherwise, if you don't, let's say you leave this turret up, you leave this alarm bot up in heaven, you leave this alarm bot up in vents, Cloud9 doesn't have to worry about this entire 2/3 of the map. They could all just run over here and just do, stack the site. You put 4 people over there, and you're going to see that in later round in some of these rounds I'm going to show you. But to start, I figured I would just show you the pistol round because it's interesting, but I like 100 Thieves exec that they do here. So they have this Viper Wall that covers heaven. They have this Rimble lineup that goes behind sight, and they're going to rack up Sky Flash around it too, which is going to be super interesting. So instead of like normally teams, what they'll do is they'll come around here and they'll wrap sight around this way, and they'll sort of ignore this back part of sight. 100 Thieves elects to take the entire site, which I think is really strong. This Viper Wall is really good. Here, I'll just play it out and you'll see. So the Asher stuck behind pillar. They have this Viper Wall. They also, you're gonna see in a second, this Viper Molly that lands right here on top of Rafter. So if anybody from heaven wants to help the guys on site, they're gonna have to run through this Molly. And then that's obviously really annoying. Zepic gets 2, they trade out, play trades. It was just really good. And now, keep playing this out. 3v3, and now the 100 Thieves has to start the retake from deep in heaven versus from back sight, like teams usually do. Usually you start your retake from back here, but now they have to start it from back here behind a Viper Wall. Now I don't know what happened here. How did Eccles, I think I say his name, die there? Okay, the Viper Wall ran out, and then Leaf had a nasty shot. You're gonna see that later. But then it's a 3v1. Hiko just does Hiko. He's trying to do Hiko things, but it just doesn't work out. I'm gonna skip past. I'm gonna show you these shots that Leaf hit. They were gross. Yeah, look at this. So like I said, the exec starts happening. They take all of sight, hits this shot, flicks, hits that. That's the biggest shot of the round right there. I don't think if he hits that, they might lose. But yeah. So that was round 1. Round 2, I'm gonna go over because I want to show off 100 Thieves' eco strat, and I think this is really interesting. That's something I've never seen before. So it's something that I think that's worth talking about. So they got this setup that I was talking about before: turret, alarm bot, and I forget. Does Chamber put his other alarm bot in events or anything? Let's see. Yeah, he does. He puts it on the other side of ramp, which completely just destroys this lurk smoke that they have going on. Because a lot of teams, what they do is they'll throw this smoke right here. So if they decide to use this lurk smoke, this alarm bot has first contact, and these guys can't see him put this down. And if they do, they have to break it, and it's again really awkward to break. It's a hard break, right? So he's gonna have an alarm bot here, alarm bot here, alarm bot here, and a turret here. Again, if you don't break these things, the defense knows exactly what you're trying to do. If you only break the ramp smoke, or if you only break the ramp bot or break the A bot, Cloud9's thinking this might be this will be an A split or an A hit. But if you don't break these bots are still up, right? So if they're still let's say for example they break both of these, right? But then they decide, okay, let's leave, and then these bots go off. They could use breach stun, Astro Suck, Raise Nade, Killjoy Molly. They still have to bait out utility on top of the utility that's already there, forcing these teams to play slow. So when people clown teams like T1 or 100 Thieves for saying oh, why are they starting their execs so late in the round? Why are they starting them so late? This is why. They have so much utility that they have to bait out that it's impossible for them to go fast. It's impossible for them just to exec right away, because if they do, they're going to run into these alarm bots that's going to trigger a breach stun, trigger an Astro Suck, trigger a nade, and then they're going to get destroyed. They're going to get melted. So that's sort of the concept of why this comp works so well on split, and it just favors that CT heavy sided feel of the map. But I like the comp. I like the no Viper. It's something different, and I like the way that Cloud9 plays this. So let's look at this strat. This wall goes across, this Viper Wall that 100 Thieves does goes across like this. It cuts off the sight lines from screens, and I think if they hug it, it should cut off the sight line from heaven, and it also cuts off this alarm bot, I'm pretty sure. So this allows them just to basically run on the site, no problem, at least you would think. But let's see how this plays out. So keeping it quiet, they're walking, they got this lurk smoke. Cloud9 knows there's something up here. Leaf knows, he was spraying a little bit. Sky Flash comes through, he has to fall back. Ash is all by herself. They start the exec. Suck goes back here. Again, they just didn't have guns. I kind of like this strat. I think it's a good strat. I don't think they have to use this on an eco either. They can keep some people they were able to isolate the Asher all by herself, and if they just had phantoms and stuff, I think they win this round. You could sit A main, you could sit here. You still have all this map control. You still have backside control. You never really play hell. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but like teams don't really push into screens. You don't really sit in this area. As long as you have backside, A main, and ramps, I think you're good. So that was a pretty interesting strat. I'm going to skip ahead a few rounds, but hopefully you guys are finding this to be as interesting as I do. So I'm going to take us to the next round now. All right, round 4. So let's talk about their setup real quick. So 100 Thieves has the pretty standard wall plus lurk smoke they're going to throw. Chamber throws his alarm bot here. You're going to see in a second he puts one in vents. Killjoy has one for mail here. And this turret again watches B main, watches heaven. A lot of stuff to bait out here. Astra has a couple stars here. Can't just rush A, otherwise you're going to get melted. So flash goes through, lurk smoke, they're lurking up. Chamber has 2 alarm bots here. This dog goes up, dog is going up. They break the alarm bot, they got ramp control. Good for them. Chamber falls back, he doesn't want to die, right? Otherwise, if that bot drops in vents, he's kind of screwed. So right now, they don't have to worry about vents. Vents is completely fine, mail's completely fine. They have all of mid control right now still. This is still all of theirs. The only thing they don't have is this area. All this, it's all I got. That's okay. So I'm gonna play it out. The Viper Wall's still up. Chamber's taking a few peeks, seeing if anybody's there. They see the sky flash. They know Raze is there. They put this wall up. Again, as long as they stay behind, as long as Chamber stays behind this wall, they know that they can't be in heaven, and he knows that they can't cross into vents because this bot is still up. And as long as this bot is still up in vents, they don't have to worry about them doing anything. Like, they're contained in this this area. But 100 Thieves doesn't want to go into vents because they think that like a vent player might be there or something, or maybe they just, there could be a completely different reason, but you see what I'm saying. This bot that they have here watching vents is super strong. So 100 Thieves decides to leave. I don't know if Cloud9 knows that, right? But this alarm bot goes off over here, which is going to draw rotate over, raise back over to the B side. And you're going to see the alarm bot's not actually broken. The bot's still there. So they still have to break it. And you can see like the vents is still fine. So as long as Chamber's here, he can still be the first rotator over to B and stack the site. But he knows, like, he'll know if they're in ramps or not. And just, by holding this angle. So like they only need these 2 guys here, which is really strong. And you can see that Raze and Breach are getting up into their trap setup. As soon as this turret makes contact in heaven, this Breach is going to stun, Cage is going to molly, and then she's going to nade them back. So like, watch, they break the bot. Cypher's walking into heaven. Again, they have to take this slow because they can't make noise and like just give away their position. They don't know where Cloud9's playing, right? So they'll walk around in heaven. Cypher's going to cross, and that turret's going to go off. Turret goes off. Killjoy, the molly comes out, the stun comes out. These guys now have to fall away from heaven, otherwise they're going to get melted by this nade. The nade comes in. So the last 20 seconds that 100 Thieves spent leaving ramp, deciding like, oh, let's take mail control. They now only have 30 seconds left in the round because they had to do this so slowly and carefully and not just run in there like a bunch of monkeys. Again, you can't make sounds and you can't give Cloud9 free information of what you're trying to do, how many people are there, X, Y, Z, right? So now, the boys down to 30 seconds. Keep in mind, Astra still has their stars. There's still a bot in vents. There's Killjoy still has her turret and molly up. So 100 Thieves decides to double back towards A. They see the Raze come in. Look at the time. You got 20 seconds left in the round. This is not a lot of time. They're still an Astra stuck here. They can't really come to site as easy. They're going to have to brute force their way in, which is something you don't want to do against an Astra. And again, they're still taking their time. Like, sky flashes at the wall. Like, they're moving now. They only got 14 seconds. And I'll just let it play out. And again, like, not only is Split, like, frustrating to play on, they had this suck here. Now they have this Astra smoke on site that they have to worry about. They have to worry about clearing. And when you come out of heaven, like 100 Thieves did like an A split that went through A main and heaven. But like, when you come out of heaven, maybe one of you guys can tell me. Like, I do this channel so that I can learn, but not only that, so you guys can learn. So maybe somebody can tell me, where does your crosshair go when you walk on heaven? Like, what's the most efficient way to path without like, I don't know, wasting time, I guess. Like, should you be looking at elbow? Should you be looking at backside? Should you be looking at this this billboard? Where should your crosshair go? So not only do they have 11 seconds, but they're worried about this smoke now. Vanity's playing around screens, jiggling people, like getting one and stuff. There's a guy in elbow they have to worry about, like peppering them from elbow, like to heaven. 10 seconds. They better get that bomb down soon. They have to push the smoke and clear it, otherwise they just lose. Vanity gets one. Now the bomb's here, and now they just have no time. Like, what are you going to do? There's no time. Run away, Killjoy. Run away. So, like, this is why this is so strong. Like, this double Sentinel comp is so strong. There's so much utility that you have to bait out. By the time that you bait it all out, there's just no more time left in the round. They tried to go back to A. They baited out this breach trap. They baited out, like, this alarm bot in here. But by the time it's all said and done, you got no time to actually play the game. Because there's still more utility that you have to bait out. There was an Asher Suck. There was a Smoke. There was another alarm bot in Vents. There was, I'm sure somebody's ability is recharged at some point in there. Breach's Stun or whatever. And this Killjoy bot was still in heaven. Like, it was still watching heaven. They never broke it. At least I don't think. Maybe they broke it. Did they break it? But you guys get what I'm saying. Did they break it? No, it was still up. Like, it's just so dumb. And Split is just so CT-sided heavy, like, to the point where I think that Cloud9 sort of picked this comp. Either one, it's actually just their comp, and this is like their strategy. They just plan to roll on defense and just grind it out on offense. Or B, they knew they had CT side first, and their players are just so, like, adaptable, and, like, they can, like, adapt to anything, that they're able to run these double Sentinel comps on the fly. But, you know, who knows? But, yeah, this stuff's pretty interesting. And I think you guys get the sort of overall concept of this double Sentinel comp on Split and why it's so strong. So I'm going to show you another round in just a second. Let's go there now. All right, so I jumped kind of far ahead because most of these rounds that Cloud9 wins are kind of like the same concept I just talked about before. And I think now by the end of this half, 100 Thieves sort of figured out how to play against this. They won the previous round, and spoiler, they're going to win this round. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do you beat something like this? Because this just seems OP. This is ridiculous. Well, simply enough, you have to pick up the tempo. Because you simply don't have the time to bait out everything. Everybody needs to sort of like make their own individual plays and like sort of do their own job in like finding these bots and trying to like kill them all and stuff, and sort of like break down these traps, you know, like just break them down. Because once you like destroy all these traps, and like then Cloud9 sort of has to play sites, and they're just like not ready. If you overwhelm them, they're just not ready for you to rush them. Sort of like, it doesn't make sense the way I'm saying it, but you'll see as I play this out. So you have Chamber playing in Vents. He's finally picked up the op, which is, again, really annoying. Something else you have to re-clear. He's holding this angle. He's got a bot here that'll tell you like if they actually take mid control, similar to that alarm bot we saw from Killjoy earlier. This is a really strong angle as well. He holds Silver Swing. They don't know he's here. He whiffed, but again, he had some stuff coming at him. I think there's a suck on him, on alarm bot too. So they did a good job of clearing out the off angle. But you saw, Asuna's just like, he's sprinting through mid. He just pushes through the slow. Sky's dogging up here. She's dogging into mail. She's sniffing out these bots. She's looking, making sure everything's clear. Saw Breach in there, right? Rage just took this by herself. Cypher's pushing up into B. Like, everyone's just pushing up, doing their own thing. Like, okay, let's dismantle this trap. They know the Breach plays here. The Skydog just sniffed him out. Maybe I can, kill her. Like, maybe I can kill him when, like, he's getting ready to do this trap with his team. So he's not ready for the Cypher to be there. Cypher's trying to shoot some bots as well. You can tell in this round that 100 Thieves really picked up the tempo and like sort of started pushing things a little more. And I don't think Cloud9 maybe either wasn't ready for it or just whatever. But you saw Leaf miss a couple op shots there, but he missed the one in Vents and he missed this one. But I mean, it's all right. I think he got sucked off in Vents, but who knows? So they picked up the pace. They killed the Chamber. Those bots are gone. Killjoy, her turrets. Did they break his? Did they break their turret? I didn't see this. Let's find out. So the turret's up there. Yeah, kills the Chamber. I think, did Cypher break it? I can't tell. He broke the alarm bot for sure. Broke the turret. Yeah. So they just dismantled everything. They have no more traps or anything now. Cloud9 has to fall back and play for sites, and just sort of like brace for impact. They have no more stuff to like play off of. They just have their guns. So now 100 Thieves can finally like play slower. They can sort of like do what they want now. They have like almost full control of the map. They have all of this technically. They have all like this control. They can do whatever they want. So they decide to use this Astral Wall, cuts off stairs. I like it a lot. Asuna satchels across. Their executors are strong. The nade lens behind pillar, along with a suck. I think there's a suck there or something. A really strong exec. And this was just a really well played round by 100 Thieves. They picked up the pace. They gave themselves enough time to plant and dismantle these traps. And granted, yes, it's 9-3, but still something cool to see. And like I mentioned before, I don't know if C9 picked this comp because They started on CT half. They started on the CT side first, but it was a pretty cool strategy that they had here, and I thought it was something worth talking about. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I wanted to mention? No. But yeah, so now I guess 100 Thieves knows how to play against this next time. And I think Cloud9 are going to be ready for when people know how to play against this next time. So with that being said, I hope you guys learned something from this. I know I did. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.